Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane delivered his State of the Province address last week. Mabuyane addressed key initiatives including creating jobs to develop the province's economy, supporting small and medium enterprises and youth entrepreneurship. He said the province would use its share of the 1.1 billion stimulus package over 3 years to create projects enabling job creation. Premier Oscar Mabuyane joins us now via Skype to discuss this further. Good evening, Premier. Thanks very much for your time. You spoke a lot, as I just said, about the economy, promising to have the unemployment rate, which currently stands at 37%. But how does a government do that practically?
Good evening, Budvuyo, and good evening to viewers as well. You will understand that part of our key areas of focus include the issue of the economic transformation. It's an issue that we think that will be able to help us to solve the three interrelated challenges of underdevelopment, unemployment, and high levels of poverty. With that nationally said, we must actually reduce this the high level of unemployment by half in 2030, that is in 10 years' time. Government has to work very hard to create conducive environment. For that, the government alone cannot really handle the issue of creating jobs, but you need private sector to come on board and make it a point that we work to ensure that we attend to that. So we are currently working with the private sector that we have been talking to as a province, but also as government. We had to put some resources into that and understanding where we are coming from, and we've really been putting a lesser percentage in terms of stimulating the economic growth. We have put about 1.1 billion over medium-term expenditure framework to ensure that we create this necessary conducive environment by actually activating economic activities in our industrial parks, working with DTIs, your Dimbaza, your Butterworth, your Mtata, your Komani, your Somerset areas. This is where things must actually happen. Working with municipalities moving is to really go all out on a very aggressive investment promotion where we get potential investors on our shores and to help us really solve this the problem that we are really confronted with.
Well, speaking of municipalities, the Auditor General released a report last week, which I'm sure you've seen, which, doesn't, your municipalities haven't covered themselves in glory, and you're going to rely a lot on them to actually spend the 1.1 billion rand you were talking about.
Not relying on them to spend the 1.1 billion. Here we talk about the provincial government intervention in ensuring that we are on track on the economic recovery plan. Municipalities must play their part. Yes, I agree with you. It's something that we are not quite happy with as provincial government. We haven't really been doing good. Our municipalities are not also really spending the allocated conditional grants for a number of factors. It's an area that we have actually prioritized. We're putting a lot of focus on to really deal with problems that really might actually be an impediment of what we are trying to do. We've got to sort out the problems with municipalities. We've got to deal with issues of stability that is there, but also realize the political responsibility that is there for those who are in that space. One thing that we've been consistent about is that we can't use the administration to solve political problems. Where these political problems show they are ugly heads, we've got to deal with that and make people to understand it's about discipline, it's about multitudes of our people who are destitute out there waiting for government to create opportunities for them. We have said this vision actually propels us to create a province that will create boundless opportunities for our people, and enterprising province that will be connected. So we've got to work together on that, vertical and horizontal, all committing into the integration. We must actually create that kind of a very conducive environment at that level, because people whom we seek to give opportunities to and develop are at a ward level. All wards are in the municipality demarcated spaces, and we've got to work together with national and provinces to actually focus. And in the province, we are putting that as a priority already. There are meetings in place. We are attending to those. We have said we can't really continue with these perennial problems of unauthorized expenditure, fruitless, irregular expenditures. We've got to stop the problem of the negative or bad audit outcomes. And to me, it's a question of discipline. You do have people in the municipalities employed. Some of them are chartered accountants. Some of them are accountants. They should be able to work. But you've got to have a political leadership that creates that space for administrators to work.
Premier, we're going to leave it there. Technology is failing us. The Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mabuyane, who of course delivered his State of the Province address last week.